Welcome to Reread. Today we're going to go over Timothy Zahn's book, Scoundrels. This takes place in the Rebellion era, sadly. I'll explain why in a minute. And Han Solo starts off in a bar with Chewbacca, a cantina to be exact, and one of his friends who's turned assassin comes to see him. And of course he's there to assassinate Han Solo and get Jabba's reward. Han ends up killing him and then telling everyone, saying, he shot first. Did everyone see that? Like a little bit of a jab on the correction on A New Hope, where Greedo shot first and he was shooting in self-defense. So I thought that was funny. I'd actually forgotten about that little moment. But this is all about Han Solo and Han's 11, like Ocean's 11. He finds a big score of 168 million credits, and he assembles a team of Don Juan Quixote, Starkiller, Jax, Quill, and oh wait, that was the last team. Sadly, Timothy Zahn didn't use any of those characters from Marvel Star Wars. I think he should have used maybe one or two. In fact, the people that he makes up, like Zarba, Dozer, Bink, and her sister, I've already forgotten her name. That's how memorable she is. But they're not very... You know, it would have been much more interesting if we'd have grabbed someone from the Marvel Star Wars comic books or someone from his past, you know, from the comic books. Timothy Zahn wasn't someone to step out of his own sandbox. He liked playing with his own characters in his own little Zahn-verse. Sure, every once in a while he borrowed Corn Horn, or in this case, Kel from Race Squadron. He's the bomb expert in this. But Zahn likes to play in his own sandbox and not share his toys with anyone else. So unfortunately, we get a bunch of no-names that I don't think Dozer or Zarba or even the twins. You don't really connect to any of them throughout this book. And this is basically Timothy Zahn sitting on his couch one day after watching Ocean's 11, the remake, and going, I'd like to do that with a Star Wars story. And of course, you know, Del Rey's like, oh, Timothy Zahn? Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Oh, you want to use Lando for this? Oh, well, here's this little thing about A.C. Crispin's. And he's like, oh, I got to tie into another book. Okay. But reading it again, it does make sense. Lando shouldn't be mad about... I think I was so defensive over A.C. Crispin's trilogy because I loved it so much. But looking at the reason that Lando hated Han really doesn't stick. And in this book, Lando realizes that. You know, he got over it over time. He realized it really wasn't Han's fault. And it makes sense. Like, Lando's had some time to cool. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing. He said some things he didn't mean. He did some things, you know, he regrets. And that, to me, makes sense. So I need to retract my initial statement of this book. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. It's definitely not Timothy Zahn's worst. I'm sure there's one that's worse than this. The things that I like about it was, the things I don't like about it, let me go for that one. This is a fine little, you know, caper. It's pulling off the master caper. There is a lot of exposition where we're talking about what we're going to do next. You know, here's what we have next. Here's what we're going to do. How are we going to do that? How many guards they have? How do we get around those guards? They have droids. What about security? Let's talk about security. And seriously, there are whole chapters. They're just sitting there planning things. And there's no comedy. Usually in these heist movies, there's got to be comedy. Timothy Zahn made sure his book has zero comedy or any moments that made me laugh out loud. And I think when you have a collection of characters, you should have some comedy in there. Obviously things go wrong. Obviously things don't go according to plan. Lando gets captured. They have to break him out. And then they do the whole... Then the story hits reset. Then they replan for their next caper and replan for the next step in the caper. And then Han gets captured. And they have to go rescue him. Meanwhile, planning for their backup B plan, Bink, I believe, gets captured. Okay, so this is just rinse and repeat the same story. Sure, I mean, overall, the caper's being pulled off, but it's the same beats, and it's very repetitive. And it's, again, this isn't a bad book, but it just could have used some humor. It could have been set in a different era. I mean, there's no way that Han Solo, he is on the run from the Empire with Luke and Leia. From New Hope to Empire, in my opinion. Why would he go off on his own? Oh, because in Empire Strikes Back, he said, I need to get back to Jabba. If I don't pay off, I'm going to be a dead man. Okay, I think at that point is when he finally turns out to say, I need to do something about Jabba. Why would he be just cruising on his own during the rebellion, while he's with, it seems like he's with Han Solo and Leia the whole time until they get to Hoth. Now they've been relocated. Now the rebels think they're safe. There's a breathing moment, and that's when Han decides to go. If you've looked at all these stories before and after, when they even have time to go to the bathroom here? This is a very bad idea, but I'm going to blame the editors. I'm going to blame Lucasfilm. No one said, hey, Tim, can't do it in this era. Said it, you know, previously, before A New Hope, or even better, set it after Return of the Jedi. Hear me out here. He's not paying off Jabba's debt. And maybe it's Lando who comes up with the idea, you know, to a get-rich-quick scheme, brings everyone involved. Han's like, I'm too old to be doing that. You know, it's that we're too old to be doing that, but let's see if we still have it in us to pull off this master caper. That'd have been a lot better. And you could have still included Black Sun, who is the people they're trying to rob from, in the storyline. I don't know. Like I said, it's not bad. It's not bad. There's just so much potential here that I believe is wasted. It's wasted. Now, at the end, there is a twist. I am going to give it away this time, since I am doing spoilers in these reviews here. But the twist that I wanted to talk about the first time I reviewed the book, but I decided not to, was there is one character who's with him the whole time. Han figures there's something there's something off with him. He doesn't know what. And then, midway through the book, he sends Dozer on this secret mission. And we never know where it is. And to be fair, I forgot. I forgot what Dozer's mission was. His mission was to build a replica Millennium Falcon over 9 days, just a shell of a ship, to fool this one guy who happened to be a traitor. Okay? And Han knew something was up with him, but he didn't know. He knew I couldn't trust this guy. My gut tells me I can't trust this guy for some reason. He's more interested in getting into Black Sun than he is getting the money. And that's really weird to me. That's concerning to me. And it turns out that, I can't remember the guy's name, by the way, the alias, Enrique or whatever. He kills the Black Sun Vigo that's there. And they're like, what? Han said no deaths. He went, well, it was either you or him. And they're like, whoa, that was kind of extreme that you just killed him. Okay, obviously, he's an assassin, right? No, better yet, it's revealed in the very last page, the very last line, as, well, basically, the guy goes to meet at the rendezvous point and realizes that that's not the Millennium Falcon, that's a shell, and that Han Solo's gone. Is like, rats. Well, I would have liked to collect the bounty on Han, but oh well, I got the bounty on this Black Sun guy, so I'll call it even right now. I'll call it an okay, 1/3 win. I think there was someone else he wanted too. And Lando Calrissian is who else he wanted. But oh well, at least he got 1/3 of my guys. There'll be time for Solo and Calrissian later. And then he goes off. He goes and he's taken off all his makeup. Meanwhile, it flashes to Han on the ship, and they say, yeah, that wasn't the guy that we knew. That guy was found dead 6 weeks ago. So the guy we've been talking about had makeup on. He was in disguise as this guy, and it wasn't that guy the whole time. And they go, who was he? They're thinking maybe an Imperial spy. Maybe he works for the Hutts. We don't know. Maybe it's a Black Sun, gang war or whatever. So a Black Sun operative. They don't know who he was. But at the end, you find out who he is taking off all the makeup, making sure he got paid for that assassination. And then on the very last page, Boba Fett says something. So it was Boba Fett the whole time. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. That was a nice little reveal there. Like I said, the book, overall, decent. It's a smooth read. But like I said, the plot just, plan goes wrong. Rescue person, plan goes wrong. Rescue person, plan again. Plan goes, you got it wrong. Rescue someone, and then win the day. Very repetitive. I'm not going to say this is worse, though. I'm going to take back what I said when I first reviewed this. I have a feeling that the worst of Timothy Zahn is yet to come. All right, folks. I'll see you next time.